If you're a 47-year-old man or getting close, this video could save you from regrets that you never even saw coming. We all want to believe that we've still got time, but if you don't step up and face these harsh realities, you're going to be in for a surprise. And if you're not careful, your health, wealth, relationships, and your career could slip right out from under you. I get it. Maybe you're feeling stuck. Maybe you're feeling burnout. After 26 years in a high-pressure career and raising a family, I've been there. I know what it takes to face these harsh realities and win. It isn't about fear. It's about freedom. And it starts now. Let's go for a walk. So I've been thinking a lot about the harsh realities of being a 47-year-old man, and I want to share that with you here today. And the first harsh reality that I want to share with you today is related to your health. Let's face it, guys. When you're hitting your late 40s, your body starts changing. Your metabolism isn't quite what it once was. And other changes happen, like, for instance, men might start balding. Who knew? I think it's a payback for me going bald because I used to pick on my stepdad for being bald. So I think it's just cruel punishment for the way I used to treat him. The second harsh reality is also related to our health. So as you start hitting your upper 40s, there's more and more preventative care that you need to take care of. And I want to encourage you to do that today. So generally speaking, they say when you hit 45, you need to have your first colonoscopy. I did that last year, and I'm happy that I did. Fortunately, everything came back good, but there's always a risk that there's a problem there. So anything you can do preventative-wise there to screen for any sort of cancers and things like that, I would encourage you to do it. The other one is like skin cancer. Skin cancer is super prevalent these days, so I've taken the step of doing a screening once a year with a dermatologist just to check for any signs of skin cancer. I've started doing that a couple of years ago, and I just schedule it every year, do it in October. It's no problem. It's a short appointment, 15 minutes or so. Definitely worth doing to protect yourself. And then lastly, I'll tell you what, one of my greatest regrets in my life was I didn't take care of my teeth as well as I should have when I was younger. When I was a teenager, it was just an afterthought. But now as I get older, I realize, hey, this is absolutely critical. You take good care of your teeth. Schedule cleanings at least twice a year. Get that taken care of. Also, your vision. First time I went to the eye doctor, I don't really have any vision problems yet, knock on wood. But first time I went to the eye doctor, maybe, 5 years ago or so, the guy's like,
What are you doing here? We don't normally see guys your age in here without vision problems. Like, what's up?
I'm like, well, I just, want to get it checked out and make sure everything's good.
He said, this is unbelievable. Great job.
So I'm on about a 2-year rotation on going to the eye doctor to get things checked out, and I encourage you to do the same. The third harsh reality is strength loss. I recently read Outlive by Dr. Peter Attia, and it was a big eye-opener for me to learn that people lose about 10% of their strength every decade. So if you think about that, right, as you start hitting your late 40s, your strength is dwindling. Fortunately, there's ways to combat that, right, through strength training and things like that. And that's my encouragement for you today is don't succumb to that 10% strength loss every decade for the rest of your life. Take some steps to pump some iron and maintain that strength or even build that strength. Okay, the fourth harsh reality is related to wealth. Now, this is kind of strange because typically as you get older, you start making more money. At least that's the case in my industry where I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm currently in the highest earning years of my life, and it's wonderful. And I'm grateful for that. There's also a downside of that too. Taxes. Oh my goodness, it is absolutely sickening what we pay for taxes here in the United States. Not sure what country you're watching from, but I just hope that you're not paying in the level of taxes that we're paying here in the US because it's awful. The fifth harsh reality is also wealth related. So as your kids get older, at least in my experience, they get more expensive. Some of this is probably self-inflicted between my wife and I deciding that, hey, we're going to buy each of our kids cars. We're going to cover their auto insurance, at least until they graduate. And then it transitions to we'll cover half while they kind of get their feet under them and get things going. And then just activities that they want to do. I shared in a recent video, my daughter's now interested in horseback riding, which, holy smokes, if you know anything about horseback riding, as soon as you go to spend some money on that, boy, look out. It's like, it's outrageous between private lessons and all the gear and equipment that they need. But I want to encourage her with her hobbies and encourage that. So I'm on board for that. The sixth harsh reality of being a 47-year-old man is, let's face it, guys, we're under a lot of pressure to maintain the lifestyle that we've created. We live pretty comfortably. Both my wife and I, we both work full time, and we've been blessed to have good careers, good paying careers. So money's not a big issue for us. But I'll tell you what, the whole golden handcuff thing, that's a real deal. That's a real thing. Just because, once you have kids, once you have a mortgage, once you have a car payment and things like that, you're pretty well tied down. So I would encourage you, if you're a younger person, maybe in your 20s and you're watching this, now's the time to get out there and take risks before you have kids, before you have those deep roots with a mortgage and all of that. Get out there. If you want to work for a while, save a few grand and then travel across the country and not really know what you're going to do when you get to the other side of the country, go for it. Now's the time to do it before you start digging those deep roots and start becoming, encumbered by mortgages and like family roots and things like that. I think that's something that I would encourage you to take advantage of while you're young. Okay, let's transition a little bit to relationships. So one of the harsh realities of being a 47-year-old man is your kids are growing older. So currently I have a 20-year-old and a 16-year-old. It's an interesting transition. I feel like as soon as they get their driver's license, you've kind of lost that captive audience that you once had when you want to take them for a car ride or whatever. So anytime you get those opportunities to spend one-on-one time with your kids or family time with your kids, just cherish those moments, because those can be somewhat short-lived once your kids start getting older. Really, I think where the transition occurs is when they get their driver's license. You start seeing less and less of them. And that's not a problem. That's just a fact. And I think for me and my parenting style, mine and my wife's parenting style, we've had to adjust accordingly. We both tried to not overparent. We try to just be there for our kids when necessary. They know we're always there for them. And your parenting style needs to adjust as your kids grow up. The eighth harsh reality has to do with your friends. I feel like as a 47-year-old man, it's just difficult to carve out time to hang out with buddies, because it seems like half the time I have something going on, and then the other half of the time they have something going on. So to find that medium point where it's like, hey, I'm available and you're available too. Wow, this is amazing. Let's get together and do something. It's been kind of surprising. I think maybe I didn't really anticipate how my friendships would change and evolve over the years once I got out of college, but that's something I think I intend to work on, try to be a better friend. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a great friend. If any of my friends are watching this, they're probably like, yeah, Steve could probably use some improvement there on how he connects with me more often and things like that. And that's something that I'm really going to try to work on. And hey, while I'm thinking of it, please take a second to like and subscribe, because I think this information is really helpful, and I think this will help other people see this information. So thanks for your support on this channel. The ninth harsh reality has to do with family, particularly our grandparents and parents. Sadly, I no longer have any living grandparents. And that is a harsh reality. As you start getting older, you lose that opportunity to have people that you can reach out to say, hey, grandma, hey, grandpa, I'm going through this difficult situation. What would you do in this scenario? And I think that's something that you shouldn't take for granted as you get older, and enjoy that time with your grandparents while you have them, because they're just an incredible resource for you and your growth. And then there's the whole challenge of aging parents. I'll tell you what, this has been a real struggle for my wife and I as we start seeing our parents get older, start seeing their health deteriorating, seeing their lifestyles change. And, there's not really a manual for how to deal with that. I know everybody's situation is different. I've talked to a bunch of friends that are going through similar situations, and I don't know if there's really a good answer. I wish somebody would just come along and be like, hey, this is what you need to do when certain situations arise. But the harsh reality is there isn't. And you just kind of need to figure it out on your own. Be caring, kind, gentle, all of those things with your aging parents, and cherish the time that you have left with them. Let's face it, they're not going to be around for forever. So any opportunity you get to spend time with loved ones, just take advantage of that. And finally, the 10th harsh reality of being a 47-year-old man. This has to do with our careers. So a few years ago, I came to the realization that I have more working years behind me than I do in front of me. And I'll be honest with you, that was tough. And I think in many ways that was one of the main drivers why I decided I would go and get a financial advisor, because let's face it, we can't work for forever. And I'm guessing none of us really want to. Maybe some of you do if you really love work, but hopefully I'll be able to retire here someday. But the workplace changes as you age, and there's a challenge that I feel and some pressure that I feel, right? Because I'm a pretty well compensated employee, having 26 years of professional experience. However, I see what new engineers are making coming into the field, and I see what engineers in other foreign countries are making and things, and it's like, okay, at some point is the business going to come along and say, you know what? I think it's time to let Steve go. We've got 2 new engineers right out of school that can do a lot of what he does. Maybe not as well or as thoroughly, but hey, it's a 2-for-1 deal. Or if they look at the global engineering talent, it's like, hey, we could probably hire 5 engineers for what we're paying him. I really hope that doesn't happen someday. I'd love to retire from the company that I'm currently employed at, but I think there is a harsh reality that ageism in the workplace does happen, and I think it's something we need to be mindful of and just recognize it as a potential threat and deal with that threat accordingly. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a great time thinking of these 10 harsh realities and even talked them over with my daughter and shared them with her yesterday. And I really think you're going to benefit from this. If you got anything out of this video, make sure you hit that like button and be sure to stick around for the next video that's popping up on your screen. I'll see you there.